as he won't be paid till he gets back, and having no friends on earth, nobody will stand him drinks. Beastly luck, but I shan't be able to see you tonight even in Cairo. Tell you all tomorrow, and there's a lot to tell, about many things. Yours ever, A.F. The messenger had no friend on earth, according to Fenton. Then the friendship stated to exist between him and Bedr el Gemály must have come ready-made from heaven, or its opposite. I guessed the nature of the decent old chap's illness. But I should have been glad to know whether it had been produced by design or accident. When I went back to the ladies, Bedr went with me, at my firm suggestion, and gave them their handbags to use as footstools. Dinner was ready, and a seat had been kept for me at a table just across the aisle, but before beginning I explained the real circumstances governing the dragoman's arrival. "Whatever else he may be, he's a shark," I said, "or he wouldn't have traded on a misunderstanding to grab an engagement. You owe him nothing really, but if you choose, give him a sovereign when we get to Cairo, and I'll tell him that I have a dragoman in view for the party. He'll then have 2 days' pay according to the guide-books." With this I slipped into my seat, thinking the matter settled. But between courses Monny leaned across from her table (she and I had end seats) and said that she and her aunt had been talking about that poor dragoman. "Aunt Clara raised his hopes," the girl went on, "and now Rachel Guest and I think it would be mean to send him away, just because he's hideous." "That won't be the reason," said I. "It will be because we don't know anything about him, and because in his sharpness he's overreached himself." "But we do know things about him. He showed Aunt Clara letters from people who'd employed him, lots of Americans whose names we've heard, and some we're acquainted with. The tragic thing is that he finds difficulty in getting engaged because of his face. I've felt guilty ever since I called it a catastrophe. Of course it is, but I said it to be funny, which was cruel. And we deserve to punish ourselves by keeping the poor wretch a few days, or more if he's good." "I thought you wanted a becoming dragoman," I reminded her. "Oh, that was just our silliness. I do like good-looking people, I must say. But what does it matter whether a brown person is handsome or homely, when you come to think of it? Besides, we can have another dragoman too, for ornament, if we run across a very picturesque one." I laughed. "But you can't go up the Nile on a boat with a drove of private dragomans, you know." "I don't know, Lord Ernest. And why don't you call them dragomen? You make them sound as if they were some kind of animal." "Dragomans is the plural," I persisted. "Well, I shall call them dragomen. And if this poor thing can't get anyone else to drag, he shall drag us up the Nile, if he's intelligent in his ways as he is in that one eye, which is so like a hard-boiled egg. You see, Lord Ernest, we're going to have a boat of our own. A steam dahabeah is what we want, so we won't be at the mercy of the wind. And we can have all the dragomen we choose, can't we?" "I suppose you can fill up your cabins with them," I agreed, because I felt that the Gilded Rose wished me to argue the point, and that if I did I should be worsted. As I should not be on board the dahabeah in question, it would not matter to me personally if the boat were entirely manned by dragomans. Except that there would, in that case, probably be a collision, and I should not be near to save Biddy, and incidentally the girl Biddy wished me to marry. After that we went on eating our dinner and talking of Egypt, Miss Guest doing all the listening, as usual. When we had finished, we kept our places because we had no others. Cleopatra was curious about my friend's failure to arrive, but I put her off with a vagueness, and said to myself that, for Anthony's sake, it was well that mysterious business had kept him in Cairo. Still, I wondered what the business was, why he would be unable to see me that night, and what were the many things he had to tell. End of chapter 3.